share the screen here. I'm starting with the idea of eating to be extraordinary. Let me just put everybody in the corner here so I can't see you, but you can see me. Eating to be extraordinary, plant-based, how to start. Why eating to be extraordinary? Because people eat for many different reasons. Sometimes people eat out of boredom. People eat because they're emotional eaters. People might eat because they're stressed. People eat because it reminds them of a certain time in their life. But when you're going plant-based, it's good to keep in mind that you want to eat to be extraordinary, mentally, physically, emotionally, even spiritually. So the way that you're eating is affecting you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So that's how you start with that idea that you're eating to be extraordinary. You may have heard this, going vegan is just too hard. And I've had people before who've said they want to go vegan, but it's just too hard. You have to prepare everything in advance. You have to schedule everything. But this is the easy way to go vegan. The easy way to go vegan. First of all, you have to be willing to make a change. This was the definition of insanity, as far as I know, by Einstein, who said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. So to get what you've not yet gotten, then you would have to do what you have not yet done. Extremely loud. So being willing to just try something different when you're going plant-based. Sorry, can someone let that person who's in the waiting room in? This is the master key. The master key is make it simple. So there's a difference between vegan and plant-based. In both cases, then you're not eating any animal products, but plant-based means you're doing it the healthy way. So your focus is on eating whole plant-based foods instead of on just not eating meat products. So there's a healthy way and an unhealthy way. So being vegan or plant-based doesn't guarantee that you're going to be healthy. You could do it in a very unhealthy way. We'll talk about the difference between the two near the end of the presentation. I would say the treasure lies in how you start your day. So often people will go to sleep, they wake up, and as soon as they wake up, boom, they eat breakfast right away. And I think that's the wrong way to start your day, because you are breaking a fast and you haven't had any liquids, hopefully for about 12 hours, because normally if you drink anything within 4 hours of bedtime, you're going to have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. That will disrupt sleep. There are all kinds of other repercussions from that. But basically, your body is dehydrated. So the best way to start the day is with water, starting your day with water. And that way you're not also ravenous, because when we're ravenously hungry, then we opt for things like, I don't know, eggs and toast or something you know is going to fill you up. But when you're not ravenously hungry, but you're moderately hungry, then you can make better decisions. So start your day with water, preferably warm water, because warm water helps to trigger a bowel movement, and then you can move from there. It's optional. While you're sleeping, you're semi-fasting. So start with water, and you're drinking water until you're hungry. How else can you start the day in a way that's beneficial? And that is by making a good choice for breakfast. So breakfast choices: oatmeal and fruit for breakfast, yes. Granola, processed cereal for breakfast, no. Even though it is plant-based and vegan, processed cereals are just too high in sugar. And when we eat something right off the bat that's very high in sugar, it causes our pancreas to release a lot of insulin, which then drives the sugar into the cells or into the tissues and causes the sugar levels to then plummet. So you're starting your day off with blood sugar dysregulation. Once the sugar levels plummet, you're going to have cravings, And then you tend to reach for something that's really, really floury or really starchy. And you begin this entire up and down process throughout the day, feeling really energetic, feeling tired, energetic, tired. Every time you're tired, you eat something processed and it brings your energy up. So this entire process is started off by eating the wrong thing first thing in the morning. So a better option, which is still vegan, is oatmeal in the morning. And this isn't the fast cooking oatmeal. This is like steel cut oats, takes 20 to 30 minutes to make, and adding some fruit on top. You can add some nuts on top as well, and let the processed cereals go. So let's paint an easy picture of how to do it. And this, according to Dr. Michael Clapper, who is an integrative medicine doctor. And these are some of the tips that he uses to help people go vegan. I would say you stick to the 4 S's. Stick to the 4 S's. When I was studying project management, we were taught to stick to the 4 S, the idea. And it's the word kisses, which is keep it simple. Keep it simple, Sally, or keep it simple, Sammy. So we're going to stick to keeping it simple as our introduction to going plant-based. You might think this going vegan is just too much work. How can I do this and still get everything I need to do done? You can get everything you need to do done by keeping it simple, by the 4 S's. The first S is soups. The second S is salads. The third S is steamed veggies. And the 4th S is starches. Soups, salads, steamed veggies, and starches. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Soups, salads, steamed veggies, and starches. But before we start, there's a biblical verse that I want to kind of introduce, because sometimes people think making changes is difficult. But I love this verse from Philippians 4, verse 13, which says, I can do all things through Christ. He strengthens me. So before you start with changes, you can start with a prayer and asking the Lord to help you and give you strength to make these changes. The most important thing is to be consistent, and also to choose things that you find exciting. I know when I've recommended plant-based eating for some of my patients, they've said, what? I can't eat meat or chicken or fish or eggs. Well, there's nothing left. What is there left to eat? There's so many options when you go plant-based. But the idea is you want it to be exciting and you want to be excited about your food. Children don't like boring food, and basically adults don't like boring food either. And yes, this is a good plan for both adults and a good plan for children or kids as well. So let's start with the first S, which was soups. Make your soups really hearty. They will love it, and so will you. So you want your soups to be very filling. Soups includes all of these dishes that are more watery based or more liquid based, meaning stews, chilies, goulashes, pozzoles, chowders, curries. They can all be placed in the soup category, and vegan. You might say it's too much work. Well, here is how to keep it simple, because the idea behind this presentation is plant-based made simple. So this is how you make it simple. You can get a crock pot. Something that makes going vegan or being plant-based easier is having the right appliances. So I would say 2 of the most important appliances are a very good blender. Something like a Vitamix is really helpful, and a crock pot, or you could think of it as I think it's called a cooker, like an overnight cooker or a crock pot. Those 2 items will make everything else easier. So get a crock pot, and you're going to make your soups or curries or goulashes or pozzoles, chowders in the crock pot. Pour out what you need for the day, freeze the rest. That way you're only cooking 2 times per day. And if you wanted variety, you'd make 2 different ones and you'd freeze the rest. So you're eating something different on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and something else Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Basically, you'd make a huge soup on Monday. If you don't mind eating the same thing, you take what you need on Monday, freeze the rest, and eat that Tuesday, Wednesday. Make another soup on Thursday, take what you need on Thursday, freeze that, and eat that Friday and Saturday, or Friday and Sunday. You're only cooking twice a week with your soups then. How can you make it simple? So you buy organic frozen veggies. As I said, this is the easy way. Optimally, you would be using fresh veggies. But the simple way, that's a really good way to start, that helps you to be consistent, is buying frozen veggies. And you can do all of your frozen veggie shopping in advance. So you buy organic frozen veggies, fill your crock pot halfway with water, put in a cup of wild rice. When it comes to rice, to know the nutritional value of the rice, you just have to look at the color of the rice. So darker rices are higher in nutritional value than lighter rices. So black rice or purple rice would be a great option. After that, red rice, after that, wild rice, after that, brown rice. And then after that, you're getting into rices like basmati or jasmine, etc. And you wouldn't even consider white rice. So you're going to put your cup of wild rice or black rice or red rice into the crock pot, add a cup of beans, add a cup of lentils. Then add your bag of frozen veggies, add some seasonings such as turmeric. Turmeric is a powerful anti-inflammatory and anti-carcinogenic. You could also add a little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon brings a new zesty flavor to it. And also cinnamon is a blood sugar regulator. Then put a lid on it. And then you can go to bed and let it cook while you're sleeping. This way it's easy. You do the prep before you go to sleep. And when you wake up, it's ready. Yay, the crock pot's my friend. Wake up to your meal. If you're working from home, you can keep it on a low setting to keep it warm all day. And maybe you'd have that for your lunch and a little bit for dinner. Eat it as the main part of your meal. Pour out, and the rest, put it in containers, freeze what you will need for the next few days. You might say, but I have to go to work. I can't stay home all day eating soup. Well, you made it the night before. You can wake up the next morning, put your soup or your stew or your goulash or your curry into a thermos. And then you just have to add a fresh salad and some beautiful fruit, and you have a wonderful meal. The next S is for salads. So the first S was soup. The next S is salads. Who says salads have to be boring? When you look at that salad, it is so beautiful. But you might say, I don't have time to make a fresh salad at home. My basic advice is eat a salad a day. A salad a day will help to keep the doctor away. You might have grown up hearing that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I'm saying a salad a day keeps the doctor away. You can put a little bit of the apple on the salad. But you might say, I don't have time to make a beautiful salad like that at home. Instead, you can go to your neighborhood vegan restaurant, I'm calling it, also known as Loblaws, because Loblaws now has amazing gourmet salads. So if you're someone who is always on the go and you do have time at night to put everything in the crock pot, but you don't have time to include the salad, then you can stop at a Loblaws and pick up a pre-made salad. And they have gourmet salads, and they also have nuts and seeds there as well. And that can be your vegan restaurant, let's call it, for the day. Salads, remember, salads are not a side dish. Here's another picture of a beautiful gourmet salad. Make salad the main dish. So your dinner could be a salad, a gourmet salad. And hopefully you'll have time after work if you wanted to make dinner the main dish. For me, when I started eating salads, I actually didn't like salad very much, but I knew I wanted to eat more salads. And the thing that made the salads better was the salad dressing. So the salad dressing is what can make a huge difference with your salad. How can you make a good salad dressing? You can create your dressing by taking some of the salad itself. Sounds funny, but actually take some of the salad, because the salad is so naturally watery that once you blend it in a blender, it's going to turn into liquid, and that would be the base for your dressing. So take some of the salad, blend it, then add an avocado. So this is making a creamy dressing. Add some nuts, apples, water. I like to add a little bit of nutritional yeast because it adds a nice cheesy flavor. And I also really like to add a little bit of Dijon mustard because it's creamy as well. And then that's your dressing. And the dressing itself will bring out the deliciousness of the salad. If you are an advanced plant-based person, like an advanced vegan, you might soak your beans, you might soak your nuts, etc. So the question is to soak or not to soak. That is the question. If it's something you can be consistent in, then you could soak your beans, soak your legumes, your nuts, your seeds, your grains overnight. You'll actually get more nutrient assimilation. The protein's more available. Sugar begins to pre-digest. Soak it overnight, drain it, and then add it to your stew. That means that you would have to do this in advance. If you're choosing things like grains or beans, if you sprout them, even nuts and seeds, sprouting them helps with the bioavailability of the nutrients in the beans, grains, nuts, and seeds. It's called pre-digestion, and you'll actually absorb the nutrients from those different items more. But if that becomes too much of a chore, then just putting them in the crock pot is good as well. So the idea is you want to let things stew, but not your feelings. That allows the minerals to be freed into the broth of your crock pot. Other little tips to get the most out of your food, there are different combinations that you can use, so you're getting all the nutrients out of your food. For example, vitamin C increases the absorption of iron. So if you squeeze a little bit of lemon juice over your broccoli, that will make the iron in the broccoli more readily absorbed. So that's a great combination. The lemon juice over broccoli, or putting lemon juice on your greens. Garlic and onions, also things that I'd recommend that you put in the stew. Garlic and onions increase zinc absorption. Garlic and onions increase iron absorption. You can cook with the garlic and the onions, or you can eat the garlic and the onions raw at the same meal. Blend them in after you've finished the stew, and then you're adding them raw. You might ask, what about fish? Well, this is a presentation on vegan or plant-based made simple. So naturally, I'm not going to recommend adding fish into the stew, but you may ask, well, can I add a little bit of stewed fish to my crock pot? It's a better option than meat. And often people do think that fish is healthier than meat. But according to Dr. Norman Cousins, he runs a health center in Arizona. I think it's called the Tree of Life Health Center. And he was also featured in a movie called Reversing Diabetes in 30 Days. I think it's called Going Raw or Eating Raw, Reversing Diabetes in 30 Days. It's on YouTube for free. But according to him, research has now shown that the fat from fish is toxic to the cells in the pancreas that secrete insulin. Those cells are called the beta cells. And so eating fish where the fat from the fish is toxic can affect how our pancreas responds to sugar and affect the secretion of insulin. In the Pacific, all fish that are caught have high levels of radiation, according to Dr. Norman Cousins. In the US and Europe, research has found that people who have fish 2 to 3 times per week actually have higher incidence of diabetes. And you might say, well, what about iodine? If I'm not eating fish, I'm not getting enough iodine. Iodine is very important for the thyroid gland, so you can eat other things that come out of the ocean, such as arame, wakame, dulse. 1 tablespoon of dulse 2 to 3 times per week will meet your iodine needs. Kelp, you have to be very careful because kelp is very potent. Only a few sprinkles once or twice per week is needed. So when I first went plant-based or 100% vegan, everyone said, where will you get your protein from? And proteins are just amino acids that are placed together. So the building blocks of proteins are amino acids. Amino acids are found in plants. So can a vegan diet really supply enough protein? Definitely. There are other things that you can add as supplements if you're concerned about proteins, such as spirulina or chlorella or chlorophyll. Spirulina and chlorella are blue-green algae. They're 60 to 70% protein. They're up to 90 to 95% assimilated. Hence, for a protein supplement, you could add 1 to 2 tablespoons of spirulina. I would say 1 tablespoon unless you're protein deficient. And if you like the taste of blue-green algae, it's something you can sprinkle on your salad. If you don't like that fishy algae taste, it's something that you can put in your smoothies. Here's some of the benefits of some of those things: chlorophyll, spirulina, and chlorella. And I won't read everything, but basically chlorophyll helps to build the blood. It helps with detoxification, cancer prevention, and reduction. It can also help to support weight loss. I know that might not be one of your goals, but it can help. It has high antioxidant properties, which in combination with the other ingredients in the smoothie, if you're putting the chlorophyll, spirulina, chlorella in smoothie, will help to boost the immune system and help your body restore itself. Spirulina, very high in protein. So if you're concerned about where you're going to get your protein from because you're becoming a vegan, then you can add a tablespoon of spirulina to your smoothie every day. Very high in nutrients, high in B1, B2, B3, iron, copper. It's an anti-inflammatory, helps with cancer reduction, may reverse allergic rhinitis, improves muscular strength, etc., etc. Chlorella is very high in protein, B12, omega-3s, and fiber. Helps with healthy bowel movements, rich in iron and vitamin C, high antioxidant properties, helps with detoxification, especially with heavy metals. Chlorella binds to heavy metals and then helps the heavy metals to be transported out the body through your stool. Boosts the immune system, can improve cholesterol. Spirulina can also help improve cholesterol. Same kind of idea, will bind to the cholesterol and then move. Then the cholesterol and spirulina or chlorella are exited, let's say, through the stool, through a bowel movement. Helps to reduce inflammation, can help with respiratory illnesses, helps to improve eye health, liver health, and digestion. And maybe this is why I have good eye health and I didn't even know it. It's from the chlorella. I'm going to keep adding it to my smoothies. So next is steamed greens. We said soups, and then next salads, and then steamed greens. Very easy. You need something green or something yellow every day. That's it. Something green, something yellow every day. But this reminds me, for the salads, if you're not sure what to add to your salads, you can follow the principle, which is called eating the rainbow. So basically, you eat vegetables of different colors. So you don't want your salads to be only green, different colors, because the chemical in the vegetable is what gives it its color. For example, fruits that are very dark, like blueberries or blackberries, they're very high in a chemical called anthocyanins, which are very strong anti-inflammatories and very high in antioxidants. That's what the anthocyanin component is, what makes it that color. So with your salads, try to make them rainbow salads with multicolors. With the steamed greens, you want to add something green and something yellow every day. Base your diet around whole plant-based foods. Steaming is fine, but when it comes to greens, doing something like a stir fry is not okay, because once you stir fry that, you're going to be burning off the enzymes. And when you're burning off the enzymes, you won't get the beneficial chemical properties of the greens. And for some reason, something is happening here. Okay, one moment. Let's share that again and see if this works. Hold on. Well, we're still connected to the internet, so that's good. I'm just going to reshare the screen and see if. Okay, great. Something green and something yellow every day. Before you eat your greens, you want to rinse your greens and then steam your greens. As I said, you're steaming and not stir frying. And then adding a little bit of lemon juice will help with the secretion and the release of the iron in the greens. And you could add a little bit of balsamic vinegar. I know vinegar is kind of some people are okay with vinegar and some people are not. But the balsamic vinegar on the greens actually helps with the endothelial lining of your arteries, kind of helps to open the arteries up more. So if cardiovascular disease is an issue, then having the steamed greens with a little bit of balsamic vinegar will help with that issue. Yay, steamed greens. That was really easy, wasn't it? So we've had soups, salads, steamed greens. We're going to talk about the final S, which is starches. And this is the really big one. Starches. The next thing to approach is starches, what to do with them. And the answer is do not eat them often. Don't eat starches often. Some good starches and good options, sweet potatoes. However, sweet potatoes are very high on the glycemic index, which means that sweet potatoes are converted into sugar very quickly. They will raise your blood sugar levels. So a better option than yellow potatoes, but you don't want to have them too often. Also, when it comes to potatoes, just like rice, you want to go by the color. So purple potatoes are an excellent option. Red potatoes, choose purples and reds before you choose yellow potatoes. And then rice, as I said, wild rice, black rice, brown rice. When you're eating your starches, you want to eat them clean. This might be a new idea, but basically you want your body to burn off the starches as fuel. So you're eating your starches without any fat added. Of course, with vegan, it'd be no butter, but also no oils of any kind. So if you're having the sweet potatoes or you're having the purple potatoes or the rice, don't add oil of any kind on top of those starches, because then it won't be a clean burning fuel. Eat your starches for clean energy. They're metabolized when there's no fat added. They're metabolized to carbon dioxide and water versus being falling into the category of proteins and fats. Things you can consider that are vegan options. Consider adding whole rice or corn or quinoa or buckwheat or millet or oats, etc. All are also high in protein. You could add that once a week or every other week. You want to minimize or avoid altogether. So those things that I just said are what you'd add once a week or every other week. Here are the things that you don't add together at all, and you basically subtract and take them out of your diet. You want to minimize or avoid completely bread. Also pastas, any baked goods and floury products. I know you're probably thinking those are all the goodies, but you want to eliminate them as much as possible. And instead you're choosing buckwheat, millet, quinoa, oats, black rice, etc. Choose those starches instead. And if you're vegan and you're trying to lose weight, overweight vegans are often eating a lot of floury products. They're focusing on not eating any animal products, but they're not making the right choices. So eating a lot of floury products and floury products that have oils added to them. And in that case, it's not a clean burning fuel. It's easier for your body to burn sugar, meaning burn glucose, than it is for your body to burn fat. So if you eat sugar and fat together, for example, if you're eating that, the pasta and you have a lot of oil on it, your body is going to burn the sugar from the pasta, but then store the fat from the oil to use for later. So you want a clean burn. If you're eating these starches, don't add oil, don't add fat to them. Instead, you can add the oil and add the fats onto your salads instead. So eat the starches clean, no oils or fats. Where you're going to add the oils and fats onto your salad. And this way your salad will kind of like the energy from your salad will go a little bit longer and you'll feel satisfied. You can put walnuts on your salad, avocados on your salad instead of bread. I know avocado toast is very popular, but choose avocado on salads instead. You'll get a really nice sense of satisfaction as you're eating. Put tahini gravy or maybe some nut-based dressings like cashew dressing on your greens instead of pouring gravy on your rice or on your starches. As I said, eat your starches clean, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Due to the fat that you're putting on your salads, like the oil on the salad, the avocado on the salad, the walnuts on the salad, you're going to eat the salad and feel satisfied. People often say, well, I eat a salad, but then I'm still hungry. But if you add a little bit of fat and you're adding a little bit of oil to your salad, you're not going to feel hungry after. I really love almond butter. 100% almond butter, and I actually add a little bit of that sometimes to my salad. I also love hummus, and I add some hummus to my salad. And when I do, I find that I'm really satisfied. The hummus, the almond butter, they're very high in protein, very high in fat, so very satisfying. When you eat your starches, it can take about 4 hours for your body to actually clear that starch out, because your pancreas is going to secrete insulin. Insulin helps to transport the glucose into the cell. 4 hours. So wait 4 hours between your meals. If you want to lose weight, have that starch at lunch. For example, if you had a baked potato at lunch, then you're going to wait 4 hours later. And then with dinner, you'd have your fat, which would be the avocado on the salad. This way, you're keeping your starches and your fats completely separate. You're eating them 4 hours apart. I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure why this is happening, maybe with the waiting room, but I'm just going to go out and come back in a moment. Let's try that again. Okay. For people who have done calorie counting or tried to lose weight, you've probably heard that a calorie is a calorie is a calorie, and the best way to lose weight is by counting your calories. I'm going to suggest a better way to lose weight is by calorie density. So when you're going all raw vegan and you're focusing on plants, you want to choose plants, choose foods that are low in calorie density. This is called a calorie density chart, and it shows the foods that are very high in bulk, meaning you're going to feel satisfied, but low in calories. Of course, greens are the lowest in calories, and they're very bulky. Then non-starchy veggies, then fruits, then starchy veggies, whole grains, and legumes. And you can combine some of these. So legumes, let's say hummus, put some hummus on your greens, and then you'll feel very satisfied. So you might ask, where's my satisfaction? I was looking forward to vegan ice cream. I thought we were going to talk about going vegan and discuss vegan desserts. But instead of going for the processed vegan foods, you can make your own, especially if you have a high-powered blender at home. So the homemade version of vegan ice cream would be to take frozen fruits, like you might take frozen mangoes, some frozen blueberries, and put them in your Vitamix or put them in your Champion juicer and come out with vegan ice cream. And then you can drizzle just a little bit of maple syrup and add a dash of cinnamon. Oh, every time somebody's in the waiting room, I get kicked out of my presentation. You can add a dash of cinnamon because the cinnamon, it helps with blood sugar regulation. And I'm going to have to stop sharing and go back in again. One moment. Can someone maybe man the waiting room or disable the waiting room? Okay, enable. I'm disabling the waiting room. I think people should be able to come in now without it disrupting the share screen. Okay, let's try it again. So hopefully people can just come in now without being stuck in the waiting room. Okay, so when we're thinking of going vegan or plant-based, people often say, I don't want to have to think too much. And hopefully now you're starting to think this actually is easy. But do you have to do it all at once? Instead, you can take it at a pace that's good for you. Some people go 100% and they say, as of today, I'm not eating any more animal products. But some people take it in steps instead. It could take months to transition. Start with eating the soups, the salads, the steamed veggies first, and then you can eat what you used to eat after, but begin with eliminating all meats. And then you can move on. Okay, now I'm eliminating dairy. Then you can move on. Okay, now I'm eliminating eggs, but I'm bumping up my salads, my soups, my steamed veggies. You want to add as much raw food as possible. It's interesting because your taste buds change and eventually you'll get there. You might think, but I like the taste of chicken and fish and meat, etc. And I find these vegan meals bland. But your taste buds are changing. Within like 14 to 16 days, you have new taste buds. So after a while, you will actually be able to taste the food and taste the saltiness, the natural saltiness, natural sweet that is in those foods. And then you'll enjoy them more. You might say this, I'm not sure I will do it right. So there's certain things to avoid and certain things to focus on. Things to avoid. How to do it right and what to avoid. You want to avoid overdoing it, as I said, with starches. Avoid overdoing it with pastas, breads, baked goods, and floury products. How to do it right and what to avoid. Avoid vegan desserts as much as possible. I mean, store-bought. Vegan desserts are vegan, but they're not necessarily healthy. You want to avoid being an unhealthy vegan. Easy do's and don'ts, so you don't have to think too much. You might say, I've grown accustomed to dessert. So what can I have for dessert? As I said, you could have the vegan frozen ice cream. You could get some frozen fruits, some berries, add a little bit of rice milk and just a drizzle of maple syrup. Things to avoid fried foods, avoid potato chips, avoid processed foods. They might be vegan, but it doesn't mean that they're healthy. These are easy do's and don'ts. Foods that are vegan, but they're not healing and not healthy. Number one, French fries. French fries are vegan, but not necessarily healthy. Vegan substitutes, vegan burgers, vegan hot dogs, vegan chicken nuggets, vegan ice creams. Did you know potato chips are vegan? Oreo cookies are vegan? You want to avoid those things and do it the easy way. And so we're talking about the 4 S's: soups, salad, steamed veggies, and starches. Keep it simple. Don't get too caught up in making gourmet dishes, etc., or your stress levels will go high. And when stress goes high, then there are all kinds of other conditions that triggers, and we want to avoid stress. So one of the main things with easy do's and don'ts, just focus on this instead. Focus on eating plants instead of focusing on not eating meat. So instead of focusing on not eating any animal products, you want to focus on eating plants. Eating plants, the whole food plants. On this slide, this is a slide that has vegan options, but they're not necessarily healthy, because sometimes when people go vegan, they'll say, yay, now I don't eat meat anymore. I'm now a vegan carboshugatarian. A carboshugatarian is someone who eats a lot of carbs, they eat a lot of sugar, but they don't eat a lot of meat or animal products. So here are some of the examples that I've already said: potato chips, French fries, vegan ice cream, vegan cakes, eating a lot of pasta, all vegan, but not healthy. So you want to avoid these foods. You can call them pleasure traps, pleasure trap foods. Beware, they are vegan, but they're overly processed, and a lot of them are flour based, and they're processed. Even things like granola bars, candies, cereals, breads, pasta, baked goods, vegan cheeses, vegan yogurt, vegan ice cream, all highly processed, but all vegan. You just want to be really careful with these foods because they stimulate the pleasure center in the brain. They're like edible entertainment. They are not nutrition. And when you eat these items, actually your brain secretes a hormone. It's a pleasure hormone called dopamine. And then you'll get a little bit of like a pleasure high, let's say, or I wouldn't use the word high, but a little bit of a pleasure hit. That's better, a pleasure hit. And then your brain secretes dopamine, and it actually causes you to crave these things, and you end up wanting them more and more and more. And it can also lead to food addictions. So you want to beware of these pleasure trap foods and go as natural as possible. Inappropriate food choices. I talked a little bit about algae, so we won't talk about DHA, but inappropriate food choices. How do you know if it's inappropriate? You ask yourself, is this real food or not? Remember, being vegan doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. It has to be fresh and whole instead of processed. Nutrient malabsorption can occur with vegans. So vegans can be very deficient in certain nutrients. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean that you're eating well for your body and what your body needs. Nutrient malabsorption is common for vegans to be low in vitamin B12 or vitamin D or vitamin K, also low in essential omega-3 fatty acids, DHA, EPA, low in iodine, magnesium, zinc, etc. Normally, these are vegans who are eating a lot of processed foods, a lot of pasta, a lot of French fries, etc., lots of breads, but they're not eating a lot of nutrient-dense and nutrient-rich foods. So you want to be a healthy vegan. You may have heard the saying, you are what you eat, but I would say something on the contrary. It's not what you eat. You are what you absorb. You are what you absorb. You are what you digest. You can make great food choices, but if the nutrients don't make it from your intestines across your intestinal membrane and then into your bloodstream and then delivered to your tissues, you might as well not have eaten that food because you're not going to get the benefit from it. The key thing to thriving based on nutrition is actually absorption. Absorption. So what are things you can do for better absorption? Well, you've got them. Let's use them. You can chew your food. Chew and chew and chew and chew. You want to chew your food until your food is like applesauce in your mouth. Why? Because I would say that God has equipped us with some amazing chemicals in our saliva. Your saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase, and that saliva that enzyme in the saliva helps to break down carbohydrates in your mouth and break them down until they're broken down into glucose so that your body can more readily absorb it. So the breakdown or the digestion of carbohydrates actually starts in the mouth. And then proteins are broken down in the stomach with hydrochloric acid. And then fats are broken down more in the small intestine when bile is secreted. So the digestive process begins in the mouth. Also, the saliva contains antibacterial properties in the salivary amylase. Everything we eat has bacteria on it, unfortunately, or fortunately. But the longer you keep it in your mouth, the more time your saliva has to attack the bacteria and have that antibacterial effect. So there's a dual benefit to chewing your food for quite a while. Keep it in your mouth. Even if it's a smoothie, swish it around so your saliva can really attack the carbohydrates and start to break it down right there. So then you will absorb your food better. Remember, it's what you are, what you absorb. So you want the digestive process to begin in your mouth. Chew and chew and chew and chew and chew. And someone might say, as I said, what? You're going vegan? Where are you going to get your protein from? Well, if this gorilla could speak, he might say this: I'm vegan. Guess where I get my protein from? I mean, extremely muscular animal. Well, okay, the answer is he gets his protein from plants, and we can get our proteins from plants as well. So the focus is more on plants instead of non-animal product foods. How will you know your difference? You ask yourself, is this real food? What tree did this fall off of? Obviously, this didn't fall off of a tree, hence you would deduce it's highly processed, so I am going to keep this out of my diet. Part of going vegan the healthy way is going for whole foods in their original forms. What would that mean? It would mean that you would eat potatoes, not potato chips. You would eat corn, not corn chips. We're wrapping up here. If it comes in a box or a crinkly bag, it's probably processed. If it has a label, it is processed. The goal is to eat no label foods, like an apple. Apples don't have labels. They might have like a barcode sticker on them, but that is a natural no label foods. This might not be possible to do 100%. There are some things that we do get in the grocery store. So my advice would be, when you go into the grocery store, after you pick up all of your produce, all of your fruits and your vegetables, your nuts and your seeds, if there are a few things that you're getting that didn't fall off a tree or come out of the ground or get picked off of a bush, then you want to read your labels. Read the labels like you're on your way to, an aisle in the library and you've picked out a book. Read your labels. The one thing you want to avoid is a lot of sugary products, because there are a lot of vegan items in the grocery store. They have no animal products, but they're very high in sugar. So if you notice that sugar is in the first 3 or even 4 ingredients, put it back. And there's so many different names for sugar. They kind of squeeze it in there and they trick us. So, or I might not say trick because it's on the label. High fructose corn syrup is sugar. Molasses is sugar. Glucose, anything that says glucose is sugar. Brown rice syrup is sugar. But we're fooled because we see brown rice, or maybe not fooled, maybe tricked might be the better word. We see brown rice, so we think it's good, but it's brown rice syrup. So it's sugar. So read as much as possible if you are buying products that come out of a bag or products that come out of a box. But really your goal is to go for no label products, but look for sugar in the first 3 or 4 ingredients. If it's there, then put it back if you can. So I said the goal is to avoid pleasure trap foods. So vegan burger and vegan fries. Sorry guys, it's not real food either. It should be a rare option, but if you're first going plant-based, if this is your initial introduction, then things like vegan burgers can act as a bridge. So, okay, I've been accustomed to eating red meat and burgers. Once a week, I have a vegan burger because this is what I'm doing until my taste buds changed and until I'm really accustomed to it. And then after that, I'll let it go. So it can act as a bridge. As we're wrapping up here, easy do's and don'ts. You want to eat real food, whole food, not processed food. You want to make sure you absorb the nutrients. So chew, 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 chew. Chew until your food is like a cream or like applesauce in your mouth. You want to ensure that your minerals are available to you when you sprout your foods, sprout your beans, etc. Sprouted options, that's like pre-digestion. You're going to assimilate the nutrients better from a sprouted option. Cook your soups, let everything kind of simmer, except for your feelings. Don't let those stew, but let it simmer overnight so you're making all of the minerals more bioavailable. Assure iodine sufficiency. You could use iodized salt or sea veggies. Assure essential fats. You want to eat a lot of greens, a lot of seeds. Assure that your vitamin D levels are up. So go outside, get sunlight. In the wintertime, you probably need a vitamin D supplement. Some people may need a more gradual transition time. I think this is a little long, but you could say, you know what, by next year at this time, I'm going to be fully vegan. Or 1 month from now, I'm going to be fully vegan. But for now, I'm vegan 1 day a week and on the weekends. I am fully plant-based. Most people think it will be hard, but doing it this way, it's easier than you think. Just keep the 4 S's in mind: soups, salads, steamed veggies, and being very careful with starches. And remember, this is like an introduction. After you're accustomed to it, then you can take it to the next level, which means instead of getting things like frozen veggies, you're opting for 100% fresh veggies, or instead of getting non-organic foods, you're opting always for 100% organic and 100% fresh. That's the next level, and that takes a little more time. But the things we've talked about here are the introductory level. And the most important thing when you're starting really is being consistent, just being consistent in what you're doing. And that is the end. So I hope you enjoy your adventure into plant-based vegan eating. I'm just going to hit the stop share. Does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure how much time we have for questions. Hi, Cheryl.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up, so we could take a couple questions, yes.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Good evening. I have a question. I make my natural cheeses, but I also use in it nutritional yeast. I have a little question mark over the nutritional yeast. I'm not sure as to the ingredients in it and if it's really healthy to continue using it in the cheese.
I really like nutritional yeast. It adds a nice cheesy flavor to it. Yeah. And I think it would be important to get organic nutritional yeast, very high in B vitamins as well.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions?
Yes, I'll be raised. Go on, speak. Yes, Dr. Nadine, I have a question.
Okay.
For the chlorella or the spirulina, are those safe to give children, especially if they're doing the plant-based, or we would say plant-based lifestyle? And if so, what is the amount? Like a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, or?
For adults, I usually say a tablespoon a day. I would decrease it for children. I think a teaspoon would be reasonable.
Okay, thank you.
And for children, I'd say like 4 years old and up. I've looked for studies on breastfeeding or for babies, and I wouldn't recommend it. It's inconclusive whether there are side effects or not.
Oh, okay, thank you. Just to clarify, just a little bit, I think there was something that was being spoken about pertaining to the nuts. I just noticed it saying that it's not a good idea to put nut butters on bread. Is that what I was reading? Or
Yeah.
yes,
I mean, you can,
right.
but basically you want to keep your starches and your fats separate so that your starches would be burned as a clean fuel. So basically that bread, if that bread is going to be, well, not necessarily bread, let's say a potato, is going to be converted into glucose and then burned off. But when you add something else to it, then the sugar is going to be burned off and the fat is more likely to be stored. So better to add the fat to a salad as opposed to putting it on the bread, especially if weight loss is your goal.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, we want to say thank you so much to Dr. Plummer for that wonderful presentation. And to be honest with you, Dr. Plummer really helped us out a lot. She stepped in, you know, for us when because we're not, as you can see, we weren't able to get Dr. Elder Mayman Wilson on. I am not sure what happened, but we will make a link with him and find out what really happened. So I really want to apologize to all of you who wanted to hear him and did not get to hear him. But I will make another arrangement for him to come on another time with us, probably on a Sabbath evening or something, and do a presentation. I will make that link with him as soon as I'm able to do so. So please forgive us. However, Dr. Nadine Plummer, our naturopathic doctor, she was able to step in at very, very short notice. And I really, from the bottom of our heart as a health team of Downsview, want to say a big, big thank you. And we're praying that we will do, you will work with us some more in time to come. Thanks all to everyone that have come on the Zoom with us. I pray that you learned something. I pray life won't be the same for you. Life won't be the same for you again, because you would have decided to make a change in your life so you can live healthier lives and richer lives, right? Without all the unnecessary aches and pains that we have sometimes. And I really like Dr. Nadine's last presentation, especially because a lot of us struggle sometimes to become plant-based, which is the healthier way to go. And I'm praying that the helpful tips that she have given us, you know, will really help us to make that transition. And I'm asking people, use, don't let all that you have learned just go without using them, you know, to make a difference in your life. Thank you guys again so much for coming on. Sorry again for not having Elder Mayman Wilson. And as I said, I will make it up to you in a future date when I am able to make a link and see what exactly happened. Thank you again. And now we are going to pray. Now, before I go, I should let you know that we will have the recordings of all that happened today, or most that are recorded. We will have it on our Downsview website. So we ask you to visit our website at the Downsview Church, Downsview Seventh-day Adventist Church. Hopefully, and you can get these recordings, and hopefully they'll benefit you. You were going to say something, Dr. Nadine? Dr. Plummer?
No, No.
Oh, sorry, I thought. Okay, so now we're going to close. And so we are going to, I was hoping that is Pastor King on? Pastor King?
You don't see me? I see you.
Oops, sorry. I didn't see you, Pastor. Okay, so Pastor King will take it from here and finish up the birth of thanks, and he will also pray to close. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, Dr. Plummer. I am so happy with your presentation. I am so glad that potato chips and Oreo cookies are vegetarian. I was always saying that for myself. So thank you so much.
Oh, no, we're going to have to do the whole thing all over again.
Thank you, Nadine. I really appreciate your presence. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Oh, praise the Lord.
We want to thank all our presenters for coming in this afternoon. And listen, we are what we eat, and our health, we are stewards of our body, and because God has given them to us. And we want to be healthy so that we can serve him longer and longer and longer and do the work of spreading the good news. So thank you, each presenter, for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here and to spread the word. And we are going to have you back. Dr. Nadine, we got to talk about having you at church, man, on a Sabbath, man, and spreading the word, man. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about it. We want to thank all of our presenters for sharing your skills and your ability. Our Deja, I know Deja was there. Deja Dodd was there as well, and others. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, we appreciate you much. We send all our love to you, and we thank you for being willing to share with us. I'll ask a closing prayer at this time, and we thank you for our health team who put all of this together, the visionaries who are putting this together. And we want to thank Elder Nicola Taylor, who supported them, and all the others who are there to support and participate. Can we bow our heads for a word of prayer? Father God, we know, Lord God, that above all things we wish we would prosper and be in good health. And this is the first step of many steps to spread that word out and let us know that we are stewardships of our bodies, of our planet, and of our time, and of our talents. We want to ask especially that you'll bless the ministry of our health professionals as they came out and shared this wonderful information with us. And we ask that you'll continue to bless their practices, bless their efforts, bless their patients, bless their families. And Father God, let the word spread out like the leaves of autumn, Father God, far and wide, and everyone may hear these truths and live better, happier, healthier lives. Thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you, everyone. Take care. I believe that concludes our presentation at this present time. So we're done now, but we will